Let's go ahead and do a quick reading for twin flames to see what is going on for you. I want to do a good read and see what's kind of like going on for your side today and your person's side. So remember, this is just a general collective reading, but I love to put these out there to help you. But if you're needing a one-on-one situation to go into whatever's going on for you, you just book on my website, sparksofdivinelighealing.com. I always encourage you to do those readings and coaching as often as you need them. I help you with healing underlying issues going on in your love life. So I have lots of stuff on my website for you. I'm an energy healer. I have a ton of healings, clearings, and activations that will help you specifically on the twin flame journey too. So if you're needing me, book me on there and make sure you're doing that healing work. Okay, so we're going to start with your side and your person's side, and we're going to see what themes are coming up for you right now just to see what's going on, okay? Okay, on your side, okay? So let's see what's going on for you. You have family issues that you've been dealing with in this lifetime. This could be old karmic wounds that originated, like this could be from people, situations, or even karmic connections, but they actually originated from inner child stuff or childhood wounds. You may have taken on a heavy karmic load in childhood, or you may have had a lot of ancestral karma that you had to clear. Now, this could look like within your family unit in childhood karmic cycles coming to light, but it could go a little bit deeper as to the patterns that you carry. We're actually encoded in childhood. We come onto the planet and we pick up a lot of programming and patterns from our family line. And some of the karma that we have to work through in this lifetime actually comes from negative karmic patterns that are passed down our family line. So if you come from, and I'll just give you a couple examples, you come from a family that really struggled in a certain area, you may find that you've struggled in this area too, because you've picked up some of these energies or things that are in your field too. Oftentimes we even carry karmic imprints from our childhood or even ancestral karma, and we're not even aware of it. This is stuff on the unconscious level. So some of your struggles that you may have played out, and I always say to pay attention to karmic cycles. So some of the deeper karmic cycles that you've already been through in early adulthood actually come from stuff that you picked up from your family line. So there's like a lot of healing happening with your family or bloodline of origin here, and you may be aware of that, but some of this stuff we're not aware of. If it's stuff in our DNA, it's stuff we've picked up energetically, but you're becoming aware of it as you're going through your own awakening. You're starting to pinpoint patterns, cycles, issues that you carry so that you can kind of heal some of this stuff. That's why I know that energy healing is the most effective, because if we're unconscious of certain things that are still in our energy field or our auric field or blocks that we carry, especially things that go deeper than the surface of this life, that's going to be what kind of hits those spots too. So energy healing is amazing for this kind of stuff. This may have manifested though into your love life. That's the whole point of this. And into relationships where you might still have certain patterns that you're working through during this time that you can kind of pinpoint to these past cycles. So for you, inner child healing, heart chakra work, solar plexus work is so important, especially if you know that you carry a lot of ancestral trauma or things that you're carrying that kind of show in your family. So this could be, to go a little deeper, you might have had a little bit of a toxic family or even just a toxic past yourself of things that you've been through on the karmic level. Okay, this person is your twin flame. You do have a soul contract with them from past lives. However, there's been karma that you're trying to work out with this person. Now that keeps you kind of bonded to this person in that way. So I feel, and people ask, like I had someone message me, how do you know this stuff from my own experience and all of the people that I've worked for? This is like what I do and going into this, right? So I feel that twin flames are going to go through certain stages, and some of that, yeah, you can read about on the internet, but a lot of it you can't. Okay, so twin flames oftentimes have to collapse in karmic timelines. The whole point of twin flame is to help you out of unhealthy toxic patterns, things you're still playing out, things you need to work on. So a lot of times people think like, they're going to meet their twin flame and, stay in the love bubble, but oftentimes that love bubble collapses into the real work or the real healing work that you have to do. And so this is all about clearing karma, especially karma between you and your twin flame. Now, this could be karma that you're making in this lifetime or even in previous lifetimes. You have certain soul agreements that come up in your lifetime, twin flame is the most powerful soul agreement that you'll ever have. Certain things have been laid out in that. I always say to look at your entire life kind of like a tapestry and to pay attention, because if you know you've had issues in a certain area or played out certain cycles in your relationships, they're going to continue until you heal them. So oftentimes twin flame will trigger what is unhealed or what is unresolved within you, so you can kind of go a little bit deeper. Sometimes this is old stuff you need to wrap up, loose ends, karmic cords, karmic attachments. Sometimes it's just unresolved energies that are still active in your field. Okay. And we have, you're kind of in between timelines right now. This is my between the lines card. You're kind of going through a huge transition right now. And this is like, you might not see everything like the big picture or your path where it's leading you with all of this. And you might feel a little bit like, I describe it as in between dimensions, right? You're not fitting in the 3D. You probably no longer resonate with it. In fact, you're probably seeing through a lot of the 3D, but you're not fully like anchored into the 5D, or you are, and you're kind of having to go back and forth in some type of way, okay? So when we're in the 4th dimension, we can easily go back into the 3D. It gets harder when we've anchored into the 5, because the 4D is like an in-between point. So you're in this in-between point. You might resonate with being in the 4th dimension, but getting glimpses into the 5. And you're probably getting a lot of those glimpses with your twin flame, or you already have. So some of you guys may be in separation, but you didn't start out that way. You started out like in that 5D. When we talk about the love bubble, it's very much a 5D frequency. You may have started out in the love bubble, like you met your twin flame and you guys kind of lifted each other up into that love bubble, but I gotta say maybe it popped and couldn't sustain. Separation is an example of that, where there's more work to do, or even if you're in union, there's like stuff that has come up in the way, so you're not fully in that frequency yet, but you've been there and you've experienced that. I could explain planet Earth like that a lot, where we were in such a high frequency and now it's like, you know, we have to go back into the old stuff. We have to go back in and heal stuff. We go into that higher frequency first. So number one, you get a glimpse of it. You've been there. You felt it. You know how it feels. It's like a higher frequency. It's a higher dimension. You feel really euphoric. You feel real good. Your outer world begins to reflect this in a powerful way. But we have sometimes to go back into these spirals of the old stuff. So you might be in a little bit of a phase of like, you're still deep working through some issues or old stuff that's still kind of coming up, or old baggage. And it could be like this situation with your twin flame is making you do that, or it's a frequency thing and you need to fully integrate into the 5D. So I'm not saying you're not there. You're getting a lot of glimpses. You're there a lot of the time, but your frequency is kind of on that 4D level. So you might feel kind of in between. Like I described the 4D as like a tunnel. Like it's like the, you know, airport waiting room. You know, you're not fully there yet, but it's a very powerful place that you can kind of travel between dimensions. So you might feel like you're a little bit between worlds. This is very spiritual awakening, twin flame energy. All right. You really, I don't want to use grudge. You're kind of, I don't want to use like the word infatuated or obsession, but that's what's coming through. There's a strong attraction here with this person. You may be spending too much time focusing on them or fixating on them, and you're being guided. And I love this about twin flame. You're being guided to kind of do your own thing sometimes. Like that's the whole point of some of this. So you're being guided to put less focus on them right now. Like maybe you've been putting a lot of focus on them with your thoughts or your energy. Whenever you're focused on someone, thinking about them, you're sending them energy. Now, we like to think that's an amazing thing, right? But if you're blasting someone with your energy, sometimes this can cause fear in them and, you know, can kind of fry them out at the same time too. So your spirit guides want you to even dial it back a little bit and to focus on your own projects, hobbies, your own life, so that you're not overwhelming this person on the energy level too. So be mindful of that too. You might be putting too much focus on them and even neglecting some of your own needs, or, you know, whatever it is, something going on there. Okay, this is for you, for your side. We have toxic people. For some, this is like, it could be, and this won't resonate for everyone. So like I said, just take what resonates for you on this video. For some, you're working through your own patterns, lower patterns, lower behaviors. This could translate into addiction, but for some it's not so obvious. For some people are dealing with like dating site addiction, social media addiction, drugs, alcohol. It could just be lower patterns that are coming up. We were talking about the thinking patterns and stuff like that. It could be also people that are in your field that aren't good for you. If you know you're still navigating some of your 3D connections, well, there can be many reasons for that, right? Okay, you might have something going on where you're being guided to check your energy and your surroundings. Maybe for some. For other people, it's just working through old patterns that are keeping you, I want to say attached to old timelines or old versions of yourself. So for this person getting the reading, you've outgrown the old, but you're still kind of teetering, right? Like here's the new, here's your union, here's the old. You've definitely kind of traveled this far, but you're kind of, teetering in between, which is okay. You're being guided to continue to work on and clean up your energy and just make sure that you're being mindful of the energy you're surrounding yourself with right now. Okay, and then we have this card, and this is like, you're determined. You're very dedicated to this person, to this union, in so many different ways. You might be really, really like locked in with this. You're on this union path. And I mean this in a good way, like that you're headed towards union. You're working on union. For some, you might even be in union. You have to remember that too. This is a card reading for everyone. So perhaps if you're in union too, you've been really working on this union and working on clearing your own internal blocks and things that have been coming up. Twin flame is going to trigger a lot of old energies, lower energies to the surface, negative thoughts, blocks, things that you've been stuck on for a really long time. They kind of highlight that, not in a great way, right? So you're going to notice this stuff within yourself. There's a fast cleansing and clearing that happens too. So for this person, you've had a lot of stuff coming up. It might even feel a little raw, a little vulnerable. It might be shining a light on like things you need to work on in your life. Let's see what's going on for your twin flame, okay? There's a lot of unfinished business between you. Perhaps this isn't for everyone, but some of you guys might even have been in a couple karmic cycles with this person or had karmic cycles play out. Because when I hear this, it's like, okay, there was a big tug of war energetically. That's what this person is feeling and sensing. They could be a little hot, cold. There might be a push and pull, that kind of energy because you're like powerful magnets. What repels twin flames from each other is fear and unresolved kind of energies. This person has some things that they're healing and some baggage that might be kind of slowing down the process or coming up within the union in some type of way, okay? Now, they have very strong, let's use the word soul contract, a very strong, unfinished, unresolved soul contract with you, that there's still so much left to play out with this person, okay? Some of you guys are in separation and you might think it's over, or, you're really being guided to do that solo work. If so, it's not. They're going to come back in. I don't know who needs to hear that. In union, you might have been running into some blocks recently. So energy healing and clearing will help to release those blocks, and it will help open up this connection and this soul contract, especially if it feels stuck, stagnant, going back into the old, okay? We don't want to take it there. Okay, this person is in love with you. They have very, very strong emotions. I was talking a lot about, we have a lot of Scorpio energy, even though we're getting ready to wrap it up. We have Mercury RX in Scorpio. We're in Scorpio season or the tail end of it. You're feeling things extra. This person has been a little bit overwhelmed over their emotions. And this could be like positive and negative ones that are surfacing, is because a lot of both can be triggered. So let me lay it out for you. Twin flame, when you're together, it's usually very positive, right? You feel really good. When you're solo, it can bring up a lot of negative feelings too. This person has very strong, positive, romantic feelings for you. They're in love with you. However, they've had to deal with some type of unhealed or unresolved emotions within their system. That might make them feel a little uncomfortable because they're not used to the emotional overwhelm. They're not used to having to clear energy like that. So there's like a lot coming up, okay? There's going to be a plot twist with this. There's going to be a plot twist. Things are going to go unexpected or like you didn't expect them to go in a good way. And like I said, there's a lot of like, this isn't over yet. It's just kind of left open. For those in separation, it's just kind of left open at that point. And you're probably not sure of like what's going on. You didn't get closure, I'll tell you that, because you're not meant to. And it's like, okay, you might think that was closure, but it wasn't at all. So for those in separation, you will pick up where you left off, however, needing to kind of get it right. So there's going to be something going on. For some, this might be if you're in, only take what resonates. If you're in a no communication, no contact, this is them reaching out to you and saying something to you. This person is very stubborn. They might be a little focused on their own stuff. With this, they might be staying busy, going into avoidance patterns, or just like really focused on their own stuff right now. And you might be sensing that. Like they might not be moving, just depends why. Okay, even though we talked about this person has very strong feelings and even mirror yours with this connection, they've been hiding their feelings. Okay, they might act cold, detached. They might let you in on the romantic level, but be a little, closed off or reserved in other ways. So they have very deep emotions, but they might show that at times, and at other times you might feel like a shift or a switch. Like, right? Sometimes they're real romantic and telling you, and sometimes it's like, okay, I don't want to say it, but I'll say it kind of screams Gemini energy, right? Only take that if it's for you, that message. I had to throw it in there. So with this, like for some, like this person has a very hard time sharing their emotions or opening up, or they do, and they kind of switch it off at times. This person is, to tell you the truth, feeling tired and kind of sick and tired, okay? They're going through a hard time from some of these cycles that are playing out in their own life, nothing to do with you. But then the connection too, okay? So it has nothing to do with you. It's just the ascension, the upgrades that come with twin flame. There's a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of changing of energy. There's a lot of clearing of energy. They might be reflecting that in purging, health stuff, things going on in the background. And you might know that. So, and I was describing it like, they might be in a little bit of a rest phase, or they're trying to like integrate some of these higher frequency energies. So this is bringing up a lot of stuff that they're having to deal with in their own life. And maybe you're sensing that they might need a little bit of space to deal with some of the things that are coming up. You might know that might be reflected in your situation, or just being mindful, okay? They might not be able to keep up with you energetically, so to speak. And you might sense that they have a little bit more work to do on their side or in their life. Okay, let's do the overall connection. Okay, you need to forgive this person for something, okay? This is like heart chakra, healing your heart chakra, letting go of things that leave you attached to or connected to old cycles, okay? There might have been stuff that came up where they weren't treating you great. They were playing out their own wounds, lower patterns, or karma with you. And it's like they have old stuff that might have come up in this connection, and you might be aware of that, and you might be trying to heal some of this stuff, but it might have kind of affected you too. So you're being guided to really, really heal and let go of the past. That's where we're at, right? Letting go of the past, finding forgiveness, and fully open up your heart. There may have been something that went on there. Okay, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. You know this is your person. That is the one, the twin flame. Like I know a lot of people say, this is not the one. Yeah, it's the one, right? This is not practice. This is the real deal. That's why we know it's very painful. If twin flames have to split, I use the word soul split. If twin flames have to split or go into separation, this can happen. It's probably one of the most painful things that you can experience. It can bring up so much emotions and actual spiritual stuff, okay? So you know this is the person and this is the one. You've already met them. Now, I'm going to do two groups of reading. Some of you guys, you were meant to meet this person and you've had to go into separation. The reason why is because you need to develop yourself individually more to come into this union. You were meant to meet this person so you don't get lost. So people say, what? Yeah, so you know who your twin flame is. That's actually a gift, regardless of, we'll say, relationship status. So you were meant to meet this person to keep you on track, but you may need to work on yourself a little bit more individual or develop yourself solely. That's why we come to Earth and we do separate and, things like that too. Those in union, this is teaching you a lot. It's bringing up a lot, but you're getting so much knowledge from this that you're integrating fast. Like it's healing you. You're getting a lot of knowledge very fast. There's something going on with money here, with finances and career and things like that too. This might be affecting the relationship in some type of way, okay? This could be like wounds around scarcity. So when we have wounds around scarcity, this is wounds around love and things like that too. Maybe there's something imbalance here. So I think of money as not just money, but energy. This person may have been taking a little bit more than they were giving or whatever, or vice versa. there's some type of imbalance that needs smoothed out or sorted out with this. So depends on what, like if you're not seeing eye to eye with that or whatever, just be mindful of that. There could be some type of block or problem coming up. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles and it's reversed, and this is my "you are a student" card, right? This is like knowledge and learning, but it's in reverse there. And so once again, it's like something not going good with money, bad news. We want to be lucky, right? It's like maybe something kind of going on there with it. And I mean, with the twin flame, it could be health, and like one of you guys has been having a health challenge. It's my Tower card, really. So this could be like an upheaval of like their self. I'll say there. It could be you, but most likely their side, right? It could be like they're going through a lot right now. They might be going through some type of Tower moment, identity shift where they're trying to find themselves. They're not fully the 3D version anymore, but they haven't anchored into the 5. They might be having health problems come up because, you know, it triggers a lot of intense energies. And so it's something kind of going on there, okay? We have the 9 of Pentacles. Once again, these are in reverse. They're all the feminine cards. So I'll just put it out there. If you're divine masculine watching this is like, once again, and I was doing the overall situation, it's the feminine. If you're the feminine watching, it's for you with all 3 of these cards, okay? So we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So there's something like there where divine feminine in the read is like, they're having codependent problems. They're having a hard time being independent. You know, it's like you're not doing the work. You might be being a little lazy about the situation. I was explaining to someone yesterday, like, you have to make anything happen here, by the way, literally on this planet. Like, if you're just sitting there and think you're waiting for your twin flame, or won't happen probably, okay? And so it's like something going on there where you're needing to put in a little bit more self-work to develop yourself or to heal yourself. And then with this reading, letting go of old cycles and old energies, what has happened. A lot of people keep replaying it in separation or in union. The same problems keep coming up and they need healed. So there's something that needs to be healed that is affecting like the overall dynamic. And we could say divine feminine side of things too, because we also have this 2 of Swords and it is in reverse. So these are like the blocks that we've been having. This could be delays, things taking longer than you thought. I've seen some divine feminines where like they're not acting right, sorry. And it's like, yeah, this slows it down in some type of way. This won't resonate for everyone, but it can kind of slow things down. Like you're not seeing the situation clearly or the big picture of things. And this is my favorite because when it's upright, we have the 2 of Swords. It's literally like cutting your cords and empowering yourself and seeing, you know, you're holding that sword, right? And so there's something kind of going on there. Sometimes it's getting stuck in victim programming and like complaining and, you know, perpetuating cycles because you haven't healed them. And you'll notice what keeps coming up. And I mean, within yourself, divine feminine, for whoever, it keeps coming up, the same stuff. Like you're needing to shift out of a pattern. And so that, once again, this is also could be acting a little emotionally detached or a little too emotional about things. Like you are not letting go of something. And the problem is we have to collapse out the old timeline to continue to shift towards higher and higher ones. So there's something that's keeping you stuck from the past with your twin flame that you keep replaying or even bringing into a karmic cycle with them that should have been done. And it's like, if you have old themes popping up, things kind of coming up again, something going on there, divine feminine is being guided to really, really step into your power within this situation. If you're the divine masculine watching this, you know, you may have to not, I say, set boundaries and not feed into the divine feminine's, you know, codependent or victimhood stuff. You might need to set a boundary. If you're the divine feminine watching this, maybe your masculine has. They might have walked away. They might have had enough of whatever, because we have that kind of energy going on, and they might have had to because it wasn't healthy in some way. So divine feminine, are you still playing out some type of old stuff that happened with your twin flame, or even some type of old karmic cycle where your twin flame is coming up huge? Now, good news if it's coming up, it's so you can heal it and get it out of the union too. So pay attention to the themes that are coming up for you right now. It's going to help you so much to, once again, use that sword energy to free yourself. Divine Feminine, you might be clearing out old patterns, codependency, needing to clear your own attachments or karmic cords during this time. Have a beautiful day. If you guys need me one-on-one, just book me on my website, sparksofdivinelightshealing.com. Like I said, I have a ton of readings on there and I have tons of healings. If you're just needing to shift your situation, needing to raise your vibration, needing to feel better, check out the healings that I have on my website, sparksofdivinelightshealing.com.